Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. No, it's been just a little bit of time. I recently got a new job, and um, my schedule's been a little bit more restrictive, so I haven't been able to go to tournaments very much. But I think that's changing soon. So I'll be able to go back to Genesis tournaments, and been picking up Advanced as well, and playing that, and just having a good time overall. But today, we are going to be talking about Genesis, and today we're talking about DoomZ. DoomZ is a deck that I stumbled across like a month ago or so, and it looks really interesting. I think it has some stuff to bring to the table, and it's getting support. It is a Medius archetype, so um, we're going to get future support that could bolster it and things like that. But without further ado, we're going to go through it. Once again, I'll go through the cards decently in depth without going too much into like a combo video. But that way we can, see the lines and things like that. But we got 3 Medius. This is the best play starter in the deck. Weak to the least amount of hand traps. Medius is really good, but we use its seldomly used second effect in this deck a lot. So unnormal or special summons a power patron from the deck. Notably, it has to be from deck. And then while it's in the graveyard, you can activate its effect, and then on resolution, you will shuffle a monster you control or in your hand into the deck, and then special summon Medius, but banish it when it leaves the field. Archmage doesn't use that effect too much because it does banish the Medius. It does come up, and you can use it, but in this deck we're using it like a majority of the time. So, and then we got 2 Power Patron DoomZ. While it's on the field, I wish it was a quick effect like the other Power Patron, but it's not. While it's on the field, you target a DoomZ or a Medius that you control, overlay a Wind Machine on top of it, and it counts as an Exi summon. And then you can equip the Power Patron to it. If Power Patron DoomZ is destroyed by any means, it searches for a DoomZ card. So this is your bread and butter combo. We have to play 2 Power Patrons, even though it kind of sucks to draw, but in case we draw it, or we need follow-up for extra turns. After that, we got DoomZ names. We got 7 Alera, 2 5s, and 2 zeros. 12-0, I guess is what it's called. But Dristea, Amalth, and Alera. I think this ratio could change. I've been playtesting with this deck off and on for a little bit, and this is the ratio that I've landed on, but I'm also considering going up on Alera. But I think not Alera, Amalth. I think the Alera at 3 is the play. And the only reason that I'm even remotely playing 2 Dristea is just because if you draw it, it makes some of your combos better, but it is a card that is really hard to play with in your hand. So, both Alera and Amalth share a similar effect, where if they are normal or special summon, or destroyed by a card effect, they will search for a monster in the case of Amalth, and then set a spell or trap from the deck in the case of Alera. So, Alera is a 1-card starter. Amalth is not. Or I guess Amalth is, but it's not as flashy. And it plays into Droll a little bit. I guess both lines play into Droll, but yeah. And we'll get into, well, actually, right here, the main other play starter, and that is DoomZ Raiders. So we'll talk about DoomZ Raiders before we go back to Dristea here. DoomZ Raiders, continuous spell. Once per turn, you can destroy a DoomZ in your hand or on the field, and then add to your hand or special summon a DoomZ from the deck. And then if it's destroyed by card effect, you can pop a monster on the field. But you can only use each of those, one of each effects per turn. So you can either pop a card, special summon, or destroy a card. So in follow-up turns, it kind of comes up, but this card is a really good resource engine. So basically, you go Alera, search and set Raiders, flip Raiders, destroy the Alera, Or if you have like a Power Pager in hand, you can destroy that and get a search. Special summon a Moth. A Moth will search Drestea, and then you have combo. Drestea is an interesting card, level 9. But you can reveal it in your hand and destroy a DoomZ you control, DoomZ card you control, special summon it, and then equip it with an equip spell from the deck. All the 3 of these monsters all share the effect that if they are equipped with an equip spell, you can overlay a Machine Wind Xyz monster on top of it, and use the equip spell as part of the material. So that leads to some silly things that you can do. I'm choosing to forego the silly stuff in terms of more consistency. So, yeah. So those are the main DoomZ main deck monsters. So we've already talked about Raiders here. I'm playing 3 Theorealize. This is an interesting card. You send Medius from your deck to the graveyard as cost, and then look at the top card of your opponent's deck and either put it on top or the bottom. And then you can banish it from your graveyard, target a monster you control, change its type and attribute. So I guess you can make Fiendsmith line with this. But realistically, what you're doing is sending Medius and then using Medius to come back. So it's extra 3 copies of Medius. And it sends as cost, so even if they like are playing Ash Blossom or something like that, which why would you be playing that in this day and age? It doesn't stop it. So after that, we're playing 1 Archmage Vandalism Assault. This just searches Medius. Medius is very integral to our combos, but because we're playing so many ways to search him, I actually side 1 out a good amount of time because we don't necessarily want to draw him. We really want to send him off Theorealize. If we do draw him, it's not the end of the world. There are other ways. But yeah. And then we're playing 1 Doomdirg. This is the archetypal equip spell. It has a couple different effects here. If it is equipped, the controller of the equipped monster takes 500 damage during their standby phase, which, whatever. And then it gains the monster that's equipped with, or an Xyz monster that has it as material gains 2 effects. 1, it can't be targeted by card effects, and 2, you can destroy 1 card you control. And if it was a monster, you boost the monster's attack by the level or rank times 100. It's pretty negligible. It comes up very seldom. Most of the time, you're just going to catch people off guard because they'll be like, oh, I'm going to target your guy. And you're like, no, you can't. And they're like, wait, it gives it as an effect when it's an Xyz material? And it's like, yeah, sure. But yeah, no, this card's really good. It sucks to draw. I would consider going up to 2 because you have no way of recurring equip spells from the graveyard in Archetype. So it feels kind of bad if they break your initial setup and you have full combo again, which there are so many 1-card combo starters in this deck, that you don't have access to Doomdirg. So there is an argument to maybe go up to 2 copies. And, you know, in a pinch, you could equip it to one of the level 4s and go full combo from there. But I don't know. And then finally, we're playing 1 DoomZ Destruction. This is a trap card. It is a one-sided mistake. That is all it is. You flip it, target a DoomZ Xyz monster you control, equip it to it, and while it's equipped, your opponent can't add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing. So, I've heard Droll Knockbird's pretty good in this format, and just being able to do something like that, Floodgates are banned for a reason, and it's pretty strong. I wouldn't be surprised if this got a point adjustment just because of that, because Genesis is all about anti-floodgates. As it is right now, the DoomZ cards are completely free. So we have a lot of wiggle room to do with what we want. So right here on the table right now is 0 points. The reason we're only playing 1 is there are a lot of lines that you can search this card. If you open, say, a Malth Raiders, it's mostly 2-card combos. If you open a Malth Raiders or Alara Raiders or something like that, you can go Raiders, pop the Alara in your hand, special summon a Malth, grab Drestea, and then Alara can set this. in other combos where you have Medius, but you also have Dristea in hand, you can use Power Patron to search the trap card, and then yeah. So there's a lot of combos where you can do it. I was playing 3 because I didn't want to rely on drawing the 2-card combos and hopefully just draw the DoomZ Destruction, but it got really bricky, and yeah. Once you establish that lock, it's really hard for the opponent to out it, honestly. So let's go ahead and move these over and talk about the rest of the deck here. All right. I am playing the Adventure Engine. I think these cards are really sick. And I don't know. I think I really wanted to play them. And what better deck than an Equip Spell deck? So let's talk about these first. So Water Enchantress, you can banish it from hand or grave. Add Rite Aramesir. Rite Aramesir is your play starter. Rite Aramesir special summons a token. Token has 2,000 attack and defense. And it's level 4. And then activates Fateful Adventure from your deck. But for the rest of the turn, you cannot use the effects of normal summoned monsters. So that is why we're all in on the Medius special summoning back procedure. There is a way to get your play started without doing that. Same with DoomZ Raiders, being able to do that as well. You can bypass the normal summon restriction to be able to do this. Now, what's the payoff for doing something like that? Is these 3 cards right here. So, first up, we have Fateful Adventure. Has 3 effects. First effect is each time, or the first time that a monster you control that has an equip spell attached to it would be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. Once per turn, you can add a monster that mentions Adventure token, and or you can add a card that mentions Adventure token, or maybe it is a monster, and then discard a card. And then finally, if a monster is normal or special summoned, you can search your deck for an equip spell that mentions Adventure token and equip it to an Adventure token that you control or add it to your hand. So, with this, you are adding the Wandering Griffin Rider. Wandering Griffin Rider is an Omni Negate. You can special summon it from your hand if you control no monsters or you control an Adventure token. And if your opponent activates a card or effect, you can activate the effect, and then on resolution, Griffin Rider will shuffle into your deck and then negate and destroy the card. And then finally, Draco Back is an equip spell that when it's sent to the graveyard, you can target an Adventure token you control and equip it to it. And then once per turn, while it is equipped to a non-effect monster, you can target a card your opponent controls, bounce it to the hand. Notably, that is not a quick effect, so, you know, it's just kind of there. But it's really good as a board breaker. So basically, the trade-off for giving up the effects of any normal summon monster for the turn is you get an Omni Negate, a 2,000 attack point monster, and an equip spell that can bounce anything. So this insulates your play from notably Nibiru. Nibiru is kind of a thorn in this deck's side. This deck plays around Droll pretty effectively, but Nibiru is a hard card. But the other thing is this deck is just really resource heavy, or this engine is really resource heavy, because you can do it every single turn. The Wandering Griffin Rider returns to your deck, so you can search it out next turn with Fateful Adventure. If you draw the Fateful Adventure, you can use its effect to add Water Enchantress, discard it, and then use its effect to grab Rite Aramesir. So there's a ton of different ways that you can do this, and I think that this engine is slept on slightly. It's just decently restrictive. It's also 50 points. Each of the Water Enchantress and Rite of Aramesirs are 5 points each, for a total of 30, and then the Wandering Griffin Rider is 20. So for 50 points you do that. I think it's worth it. I think that there's an argument to be made to try like Mikonko or something like that. I've not looked in those cards very heavily, but I had the adventure stuff and I've been dying to play it, so here I am. After that, we have 2 equip spells. We'll get in this with the extra deck, but you do have a generic equip spell searcher. The generic equip spell searcher Can search any equip spell, and some people I've seen online are playing um, things like Angelica's Angelic Ring or Meta Silver Armor or random Makonko equip spells, things like that. I've chosen to go with these because I wanted follow up for my next turn. This deck does not put game out on board very easily, and so even going second, if you're able to make your ward, you're not going to be able to game your opponent. And you can steal a game with Snatch Steal, or you can, if going first, I'll usually grab Premature Burial, and that way I can do my full combo next turn, because they just need an equip spell attached to them. So Premature Burial plus Dristea is your whole new combo. Yeah. These are also both 7 points. So it leaves you with a little bit of wiggle room in terms of points. Because, of course, we have to be playing the mandatory 30 points. Yeah. I mean, what is there to say? There's been a lot of discourse online about the prevalence of these cards in Genesis format. I think it's ruining the format. But we can play them, so we might as well. After that, we're playing 2 Ghost Ogre as well. I think Ghost Ogre is actually pretty neat. I've been really liking playing this in a lot of my Genesis decks as just like, oh, I have an extra 3 points, let me throw a Ghost Ogre in. There's a lot of random things that just lose to Ghost Ogre. I was playing against Exosister, and like, you can hit the Mikalis and make it so they can't summon, or they can't make their big body Magnifica. What else? Against Radiant Typhoon, it kind of comes up because you can keep them off of Xyz monsters. You can chain block. There's just a bunch of different things that you can do. Yeah, I mean, in a pinch, it's just Ring of Destruction. You can just blow up a monster that's problematic. So, big fan of it. These ones obviously are good. There's a reason every deck plays them. I can't wait to see if these cards get a point increase, because I don't want to have to auto include 30 points in every deck. So we're at exactly 100 points with the Ghost Ogres, the Nibirus, the Drolls, and then these. So that is 100 points right there. So that is where all of our points are at. Now, I think that there is room to play Zeus in the extra deck. I forewent it. Yeah. On the extra deck, this deck is really restrictive when it comes to their extra deck. So, yeah. Unfortunately, that's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. We are on 3 Diactorus. On summon, you can destroy a card you control and one monster on the board. So notably, you go Medius, summon the Power Patron, overlay on top of the Medius, and equip the Power Patron. Diactorus will then activate to pop the Power Patron, and it is an optional effect to pop a monster. So you can pop your Power Patron and get the search. And then if Diactorus is destroyed, while it has a DoomZ monster or Medius as a material, you get to search for an equip spell and either add it to your hand or put it in the graveyard. So that is your generic equip spell searcher. After that, we are on 3 Dristeus. Dristeus is your endboard piece. On summon, you can equip a monster on the field to it as an equip spell. Once per turn, if it would be destroyed by battle card effect, it is not destroyed. And then, if your opponent activates a card or effect or a monster effect on the field or in the graveyard, you can detach a material from it and then negate it, and then equip a monster your opponent controls to it. So this is your boss monster, and what you are ending on in most hands, and basically your end board point. He's 27, but he's really hard to out. He cannot be destroyed once per turn. If you have Fateful Avenger up, he can't be destroyed twice per turn, by battle at least. He also can't be targeted because of the equip spell that you usually have attached to him, and overall, he's just kind of a hard card to get around. And even if your opponent tries to like break your board, usually he's living a turn. And you can just make a second one and steal monsters. Um, his effect to equip cards to him doesn't target, so you can really mess up with your opponent's board states. Yeah, he's a really cool boss monster. After that, we're playing 3 Jupiter, the Power Patron of Destruction. I've yet to make this card. Um, Realistically, it's pretty decent. You can summon him if you have an Xyz monster, just a monster you control with 3 or more equip cards to it. And then if it's Xyz summoned, you equip as many equip spells from your graveyard to it, and it gains 3,000 attack while it has an Xyz monster's material. You can detach material and special summon a DoomZ monster from your graveyard, then destroy a card on the field. If this went off, it would be cool. I don't think it's necessary. Especially because it is a level 10. So it would be different if we had a DoomZ monster that was natively level 10. But we don't. Most of the time, if you're playing the build that has a random equip spell that does something, maybe there's something to be said. Because Drasteus can, on activation, equip a monster on it, or on summon can equip a monster to it. You can have another equip spell attached to it, and then like maybe it's destruction, the trap card, and that's 3 right there. I've never gotten to that requirement, and even if I do, like, I'm losing a negate to make just a big ass dude. So I don't know. I'm not sold on it, but you can't really make much else in this deck. So yeah, the one thing we can make is the F-Zero cards. I think in future builds, maybe if I figure out like a Makonko build or something like that, there's more room for F-Zero cards, like Utopic Draco Future. This is a 0-point card, and you just have to use 2 monsters of the same same rank. So if you say can't get to Drastea, which some boards can't, and you can only make Diactorus, next turn you can make a second Diactorus and then put them on this guy. And this guy is pretty decent. He gains attack for every rank times 500 on your field and in your opponent's graveyard. And then once per turn, you can if your opponent activates a card or effect, you can detach material from it and something like that, like negate it or something like that. Once per turn, if your opponent activates a card or effect on the field, detach material, take control of 1 monster your opponent controls. And this turn, UDF or the Utopic Futures Exile cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So I never made this, but I think it's something that you can do. There was a time where I Snatch Stealed and Exo Sister Xyz while I had Diactorus, and I thought about making this, and I ended up just keeping the Diactorus, and that was enough to win. So, it is what it is. After that, we're playing Ultimate Slayer, so we're playing an Ultimate Slayer package. We have so much room in this extra deck. You could probably even, if you could find room for it, you could probably be playing Super Poly. Yeah. By the way, I was finally sold on this card. So I started playing it over the Wind Pegasus. Yeah, that's the extra deck. Finally, onto the side deck here. 23 minutes in. I'm on 3 Dark Ruler, 3 Ultimate Slayer. I think board breaking is kind of necessary in this format right now. I think it is at a point where it is necessary to do. On 3 Hatrunade and 3 Cosmic. There are just some back row decks running around in Genesis that kind of don't care about, they're pretty ignorant to wanting to play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm thinking things like Eldritch, Odeon, obviously. There's just a bunch of just random stuff running around. I think Cosmic is still really good, but I'm really coming around on Hatrunade as a really good card. I think this card is really good, especially in the Radiant Typhoon matchup, because it forces all your opponents' interaction right then and there. Unless they have Runic Fountain on the board. And then Cosmic Cyclone cleans up anything else. So basically, if I'm going against a Build-A-Board deck, I'm putting in these. If I'm going against something that is ignorant and likes to set 3 or 4 cards, I'm putting these in. This card is still also a house against Archmage and any deck with a field spell as well. And then finally, I'm playing 3 Magic Deflector. This is mostly for the Radiant Typhoon matchup. I've kind of lost interest in this card, especially in DoomZ, because it negates the effects of your Equip spells and your Fateful Adventure and things like that. So I think that there's an argument to be made to not play it. I would actually be playing Xyz Encore over this. I think the fact that Automat can make Rongomniad really easily necessitates the need for Xyz Encore right now. So that is the deck. We're on 40 in the main, 15 and 15. Yeah. This deck is fairly simple to play. There is some like random nonsense if you don't draw the linear combo. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see a combo tutorial like I've done for some of the other decks on the channel. And yeah, look out for more content from me soon. Thanks. Bye.